Hello, I'm Adam and I'm a ballet teacher at London's Pineapple Dance Studios. Today I'm going to be taking you through the basic positions of the feet that you would come across in a ballet class. So, at the bar, we'll start in our first position. This is basically with the legs together and the heels together. Second position. Third position, which we don't use so much, but it's a good place to start for a cross position. Fourth position, which is an open position, also crossed. And fifth position, which is a much tighter cross position. And those are the 5 positions you'll probably use. So, first position. It's a closed position with your heels together and the backs of your legs squeezing tightly together. Second position is an open position, literally about 1.5 feet space between your heels, with the heels opposite each other. Third position, not used so often, but it's good when you're starting ballet to maybe work in third as opposed to fifth, because it's harder to maintain a tight fifth position. So third is roughly ankle to ankle. Fourth position, once again, quite a difficult position, but the feet are open and they're about a foot's width apart. Doesn't matter how crossed it is, some people like it quite overcrossed, but it's wherever it's comfortable and you can work naturally. And fifth position is the tighter cross position, roughly heel to toe, and obviously all with your feet turned out. And those are the 5 positions. The most common mistakes that you can make with your feet positions are generally overturning out, which is the most important one. If you try and force your turn out, what will happen is your weight will roll forward onto your feet. Basically, rolling means rolling forward on the feet, so the backs of your feet come off the floor, and which is a very bad position because your ankles are contracted and you're placing stress on your knees as well. So it's very important to only turn out as far as your hips will allow you. Some people have more turnout than others. In first position, it's very important to be squeezing your inner thighs together and to have the backs of your legs squeezing together. If your legs are relaxed at any time and we get this slightly relaxed position and what I call daylight between the legs, it's very wobbly and unstable. So you have to be squeezing your inner thighs together all the time, also while activating your glutes and your hamstrings at the back, i.e. here. That also goes on to postural problems, but I'll deal with those in a minute. It's the same in second position. The legs have to be pulled up and not overturned out. If you're working overturned out, you'll be contracting in the feet and it'll be very difficult to balance. You'll probably find your weight rocking back. So you have to keep your feet in a comfortable turned out position where your hips will allow that amount of turnout. Remembering third position, we don't use so much, but it's a good place to start with a cross position if you haven't done much ballet before. So as I say, it's heel to ankle, and once again, don't overturn out your feet. Keep the backs of your legs and your inner thighs squeezing together so the weight is on the back of your feet. Fourth position, it varies how crossed it is. It can be opposite fifth position or it can be opposite third position. But the important thing is, once again, not to be overturning out and rolling on your feet. There's also a big postural consideration in fourth position. If I just turn side onto the bar, because we've got one foot in front of the other, we often let our pelvis rock back and we have our hips contracted here, which we don't want. We need our hips to be square, as they always are in ballet. You'll learn that about your posture from the very early on in class. The pelvis has to be square and neutral. A good way to achieve that is to keep the inner thighs working and squeezing and to gently dimple the glutes. Don't think of clenching your buttocks so it thrusts your pelvis forward, otherwise you'll build big muscle in your glutes, which we don't want, and it's also posturally incorrect. They're just gently dimpled and activated with the hamstrings lifting up under the glutes. Same in fifth position. When it's crossed over, it's roughly heel to toe. It's important not to overcross it or overturn it out. If you do, your weight will be rolling forward on your feet. This rolling is a really bad problem and it always results from overturning out. So you must keep the weight on the backs of your feet and evenly distributed through the balls of your feet and your 5 toes. And keep the backs of the legs squeezing together, especially the inner thighs, and that's your fifth position. The most important things to remember to improve the positions of your feet are just to make sure you're not overturning out and make sure you're always working your inner thighs and squeezing the backs of your legs together while continuously gently dimpling your glutes, not clenching and lifting, feeling the hamstrings lifting up underneath the glutes. In the open positions, that's equally as important. In the closed positions, think of them as positions of your legs rather than your feet, so that your legs are together, and the same in fifth. Think of keeping the position closed with your legs. If they're always squeezing together when they're closed, that's the best thing you can do. Fifth position is probably the most important position. As your turnout improves and the strength in your inner thighs improves, your fifth position will tighten up. And this is what we need later on. And whether you're on plie, or on straight legs, or on rise, we're always squeezing our legs together, working the rotation from our hips, and remaining stable because it's all working together. And that's it.